Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. You are listening or watching the Juicebox Heroes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, PK. We have Chris, Mr. Dubon Fan Club president, with us, and as always, Mr. Sweet Bee Bones, Mr. Bryles. So, what's going on, fellas? How's spring break?
Oh man, it's good to be back home. That's all I'm going to say. We were able to survive the most magical place in the world. Good to be back home, and I will say, screw Frontier Airlines. That's all I will say. Browse, how's it going? It looks like you're on location. What are you camped outside of Dyken Park, ready to get your new merch?
No, not quite, man. But I am having a little bit of an issue. So yeah, we're rolling off the iPad tonight just to make it more fun. But yeah, spring break's been it's been a challenge. We've had a few bumps, but just like you, not as bad as Frontier airline issues. So good luck with that.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds terrible. We were just kind of talking about it before we went live, so I'm sure we'll get the details. The T, as the kids say.
Not
Um,
if we want to keep this PG.
Hear that
Right.
wrong. But yeah, no, so a little bit of big news today. The new City Connect unis dropped today. I would say probably one of the here recently of probably the worst kept secret since someone leaked the uniforms. I guess it was last week. Um, so I know we talked about it a little bit on the last week's episode, but now that they're officially released and what we thought they were going to look like is what they are. So, initial thoughts on the formal, official City Connect unis.
Honestly, man, I like them. I really like them. Again, my only issue is to nitpick that white hat. But now that I've looked at it, it's just the front portion that's white. The rest of it looks like it's navy blue. So, I mean, I guess that's gonna have to be a hat that I wear indoors and indoors only, not outside, so I don't get the sweat rings all up front. But I was probably the only person in this house that was all about the new unis. Benjamin did not like them. And of course, Manny did not like them either. But I think they're pretty clean.
Yeah, I thought the Union Station logo on the arm was pretty slick. I thought that was a really nice addition to it. I thought the Stroh's part was I don't know, it wasn't my favorite part of it, but I do like the fact that they tried to incorporate, all the different logos, all the different color schemes, all that kind of stuff. And I can guarantee you one thing, I don't care if they're $40, I'm buying a pair of those socks. That is for damn sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. The socks look pretty good. I tell you what, though, there is one person I know for a fact that is out that potentially may be down there out at Dyken Park. So, and that's our good old buddy at Locked On Astros, H Town Wheelhouse. So I've already kind of talked to him. Maybe if it's not too crazy, he may go over there and check it out. But he's a better man than I am because I'm not going out there.
Well,
No.
and he's on spring break, so he
Yeah.
can afford to go stand in line and do his thing. No, the initial reaction here at my house was everybody liked him except for me. So, but I think now that we kind of saw it, on a player on Altuve, it does look a lot better, than just some picture up on X. I think when it comes to the hat, I need to see it. I need to hold it and kind of look at it, just to kind of see, you know. I'm like you, Chris. Like, if I wear anything white, it's ruined within the first 2 seconds of me putting that shirt or hat on. So if I did get that, it would be a podcast type hat or to the Astros game hat, or just sit on my little chest that has all my hats on there. But I do expect to see the one that we call Chris Moreno to have the hat on for next week's podcast. I do expect that.
All right.
Um,
I'll see
so,
what I can do.
I mean, I have all the faith in the world that you will be rocking that new hat come next Thursday. But
Well, I mean, like to be honest with you, I mean, like I was kind of like when I saw that it was white, I was like, cool, not a problem. I was gonna pivot, but then like and this is not really Astros news. I mean, I guess it's kind of related, but man, I was so disappointed in those new the new I
Space
guess
Cowboys.
Heritage Space Cowboys stuff that they dropped. Man, like I thought it was gonna be like a maybe type of like maybe like a powder blue and red, kind of like an Oilers theme, like just alternate Space Cowboys, maybe uniform and hat, but it ended up being something completely different, and I was just a little disappointed. So I may have to pivot back to the new Space City. But like I said, if you're cheap like I am, and you're looking for a deal like I am, they have all their old Space City stuff on the Astros online shop right now. It's dirt cheap. Now's the time to buy it.
All right, so since we're talking about, since you brought that up, let's rank the new hats that we saw from the Astros organization. So we have the Hooks new hat, all their hats. The only one I didn't really care for was the Oiler looking one. Don't say I hate it, I just didn't care for it.
I thought that one was pretty tight, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's just something I don't think I would rock.
I'll tell you this: I don't think it's even close. I think the hands down winner of all the newly released merch from Astros and their affiliates, it's the Corpus Christi Hooks' new logo and jerseys and uniforms.
Yeah,
hands down the best one out of all three of them. If it wasn't for the fact they put a damn rodeo clown as their logo on their hat, I would give the edge to the Space Cowboys. But I'm not wearing a hat with a rodeo clown on it. So for
It'd be
that,
a lot cooler if you did, though.
It probably, I'll probably end up buying that one too. So
you will, because that's
give
what
it
you
time.
do.
I probably will. So
yeah.
I was telling Mandy, I was like, I need some hats. She was like, no, you don't. You got like 60 of them that you don't wear. I was like, yeah, but they're all like work hats. Can't wear all those.
So that's where I'm at. I've got a ton of work hats and a handful of actual hats that I wear all the time. Lindsay says the same thing. You've got too many hats. Well, they're mostly work hats, so I need to get some more.
Yeah, and as you guys have seen, I've got like about 35 hats that I keep rotating in and out on the podcast that are on the top of my closet right now. But I don't know. Honestly, the new Astros golf hat with the rope on the front, I've been checking that one out. That one looks really nice. But if we're going to go like official hats that the entire organization has put out, man, that's got to be a tough one. It's got to be Corpus Christi. I mean, they put out some really nice stuff. So that I don't see any way that isn't the hands down winner.
Yeah,
well, there's always
the
always the fourth option. Now, this one might be a little bit pricier if you go on eBay. The Astros ass hose hats.
Yes,
if you're looking to drop about 140, 150. Now they're not as crazy as the Rangers hats, but
or the A's
also, or the A's. I haven't looked at the A's, but I know
it
that
just
the
says
Astros
ass.
ones.
It says ass on it.
I mean,
that's exactly what it says.
That's fair, But
look, that ass hat, that ass hat is not getting $1,000 a hat like the Rangers hat is. I'll tell you that.
They just pulled the Angels hat too, which I mean, I didn't think that one was that offensive, but anyway.
I think on the Angels hat, you have to like really read it the way you want it to sound, right? Like,
yeah,
you have to really read it the way you want it to sound. So
that was like the dumb kids like growing up that would get the White Sox hats and cut out part of the O, so it just said sex going across.
Or like a Sharpie and color in the O a little bit. Yeah.
Stupid.
Well, we were poor, so I didn't buy a hat to Sharpie and some of the stitching, so it says stupid shit. So,
well, look, we were poor. We shopped at Wieners back in the day, so
there you go,
and hit the sale rack.
And Woolworths.
yeah. But all right, I wish I could say that we were watching the Astros game while we were talking about this, but it's not on TV, so we're getting all of our updates.
It's never on TV anymore
through X. Look, let's start off with the bad news. Altuve has made 2 errors. Well, he's definitely dropped a fly ball early. I think it's the second inning.
And he misjudged the ball too. A jump.
Okay, so 2 errors. Fairly routine, I would say. It just reminds me of watching Bidge try to play center field. Back then, like he's just giving everything he has, but it's obviously it's just not his position. And thankfully, thankfully it's spring training, and right now it's just for him to get work. But Spada did come out and say that like Altuve is going to be our starting left fielder. And he will play some games at second base, but he will primarily be out in left field. So I don't know, man. I need to get my blood pressure medicine back and refilled.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show like how much hammered dog shit our outfield is. I mean, we looked at Chas McCormick's numbers right before we came on live tonight, and it's abysmal. I mean, I know Jake Myers has hit better. I don't know. I don't have his stats pulled up, but I know Chas McCormick has looked like ass. I don't know how Ben Gamble's looked.
Terrible. Like he's going to get cut.
Look, Ben Gamble
Okay,
gets hit in the
so
face with the ball. Like, we shouldn't talk about him.
yeah, I mean, I haven't heard, I guess it's either a good thing or a really bad thing. I haven't heard not one thing about Taylor Trammell. Not one thing. So
Yeah, neither
I
have
forgot about him. Yeah.
yeah, I know Pedro Leon's hurt. He's not playing. So I
Say it. Who's your right fielder?
I think Cam Smith's going to get the call. I mean, like he just went deep. He went deep tonight again. Number 4. So I mean, like I get it. I mean, but because I looked at Jordan stats, he's hitting like 160 something. Yiner's hitting 194. I mean, those guys you don't really care about because when the season starts, they're going to get their stuff together. But when you're looking at guys who needed to come out and have a really strong spring, like Chas McCormick, and he just, man, he doesn't look good at all. And it just goes to show that glaring weakness out in the outfield. But then again, like I said, I was reading an article about Alex Verdugo, how nobody has touched him.
Yeah.
Not one team has even talked to him. So clearly something's going on. Maybe he's in like some type of like fantasy land where he wants $20 million a year to hit Jake Myers' numbers. But yeah, I think now like you have to. I mean, you don't, like I said, you can't repeat what we did last year, where you came out and finished up May like 7-8 games under 500. Like you can't go into this season expecting to get as lucky as you did last season. And unless something happens where they go and they sign somebody that nobody knew about, or someone who just got cut that nobody knew about, I think you're gonna have to pull the trigger on Cam Smith. So I mean, but yeah, so Altuve being your everyday left fielder, that's pretty much tells you all you need to know about this outfield. It's shit. So
it is right now. I'm going to start with Verdugo. He rejected a 1-year, $8 million contract from the Pirates. And then it came out shortly after that what he is looking for is either 15 for 1 year, or he's looking for 12 million for multiple years moving forward. And that multiple year contract he wants is a 4-year contract. So I don't see him. That's why nobody is talking to him. He's gotten 0 offers because of his stupid stuff that he's actually asking for. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, 1 for 8. I mean, it's not my money. I could stomach that, but whatever. So that's that. The one thing, just what we've been talking about is Cam Smith he's pushing the hand of the entire front office right now. He is going to have to make this roster. He's going to have to play right field. And I mean, if we're looking at this, who's going to play left field better, Dubon or Altuve? And the answer is Dubon. I know, Chris. I'm sorry. Hate to tell you that.
I didn't say anything.
But at the same time, you can very easily slot Altuve back where he needs to be. Quite honestly, I mean, everybody kept saying, "Oh, his defensive metrics at second base were so terrible." Okay, he's still the best second baseman, maybe short of Brendan Rodgers defensively on the team. So, I mean, what are you going to do? He can hit better than Brendan Rodgers all day long, and he's not going to make the DH spot. That's already taken. So at this point, I think you keep Brendan Rodgers on the team. You slot Altuve at second. You put Dubon in left. And then you've got to pick one of the 2 jokers to go put in center field and figure it out. And you damn well better put Cam Smith on your opening day roster, because at this point, all these guys that have been getting ramped up that are professional, like we're talking major league quality pitchers. These are the guys that he has been seeing this last week. We're not talking about number 97 out of Double A Scranton or some guy out of, Quad Cities that nobody's ever heard of or doesn't even have his name on the back of his jersey. He's been rocking major league pitchers. So I'm telling you, if he keeps this up, he is ready for the major leagues right now. I agree with the way that MLB actually did this and gives the team an incentive to bring him up. So if we can make all this work out, it is the best situation to put Cam in right, put Altuve back at second, and then you got to put Dubon or somebody else in left field. But it shouldn't be Altuve. He is a defensive negative WAR player in left field. He is a plus WAR player at second base. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, I got a question for you guys. So, is there a way? So, let's just say that the game plan is to hold Cam Smith back until whenever that 6-week period is, right? To gain that extra year. Would you be okay with a Dyken Park lineup where you put Jordan in left and let's say you put Dubon in right, leave Jake Myers in center, and then you have Altuve playing second, and then in a game where we're obviously the visiting team outside of like maybe Fenway, you probably would move. Let's say you put Dubon in right, Altuve in left, and then you put Brendan Rodgers at second. Could we skate by with that until that 6-week period is up? Or if you're going to do that, do you just roll the dice and hope Chaz McCormick puts it together once the season starts?
Chaz isn't putting it together.
No, he's not.
I'm just asking the question.
He's not. It sucks, but I think, because you want him to. I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, you want him to succeed because we've seen what he can do, but it's pretty evident, that he's not going to put it together, at least right now, based on this spring. So you're saying, so that's my answer for Chaz. So you're saying in a national league?
No, not national league. I said in any stadium, not Dyken or Fenway, you would have Jordan be your DH, and your outfield would be Altuve in left, Myers in center, and then you'd have Dubon in right. And then if you're playing at Dyken or Fenway, you would have Jordan in left, Altuve playing second, Jake Myers in center, and then basically that way it would transform to Dubon as your everyday right fielder.
But wouldn't you want Altuve playing left at Fenway and Dyken because it's a short porch, high walls? And I would have Altuve in left at home and at somewhere like a Fenway or another short porch left field. But let's just, for conversation's sake, those two. Okay. Then on your other, basically every other park, you're going to have Jordan as your DH, and you can have Dubon as your left fielder. We see what he can cover. He can cover ground out there, right? Altuve at second, Cam and right. Like that would be. I think really, if I'm choosing, there's only a couple places where Altuve is playing like left field. And that's 81 games at Dyken, and then however many games we play at Fenway.
Well, and I just pulled up the schedule for the next 6 weeks, or the first 6 weeks of the entire season, and I hate to tell you guys, but we've got some deep outfields out there. I mean, we're talking like the Twins, the Mariners, Angels, Cardinals, Padres, Blue Jays, Tigers. I mean, it's not looking good. White Sox, Brewers, Reds. So anyway,
Right.
it's there are no gimmies, when we're talking about, going on the road and seeing what we can actually do as far as putting Altuve in left field. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, the dude can play defense. We've seen that his entire career. The guy's like either pushing Correa out of the way to go catch it like a pop-up, which should be for the shortstop, or he's like behind the first baseman trying to catch a ball. So we all know he can play defense. That's not the thing. But this is not his position. So everything's going to go over his head, and it's going to be really hard in those giant outfields, just like both you guys were saying. So, I mean, I don't see how they can afford to keep him out there unless, just like you said, PK, it's Boston, it's New York, or it's home. That's it.
So
Okay,
another thing,
so
as you're talking about, is like how many, and I don't know if we know the answer, right? But how many spring training games have they played under the lights where he's played out and left, right? Because like you're seeing,
I
most
don't
of
know.
these games are during the day, right? So I feel like
I'll say
I mean, look,
they've
you could lose the ball in a high sky, like you can,
yeah.
you know. I feel like at night would be, a little bit easier as long as it doesn't get caught up in the lights, like a line drive that stays, at that third level where the lights are. But I mean, how many games? I don't. Most of the highlights I see of him missing are day games.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just saying, just in general.
two things. One, I will say they have played it. From what I've seen, they played a handful of early evening games. And I don't know if that's like a new thing they're trying to do. It's not like you can watch them on TV, but um. So then my other question is this. Okay, so if Altuve looks this bad in spring training, right? One, so this has two parts. One, has anyone seen any action of how Cam Smith is done in the outfield? And two, if it just solves all the problems, why would you not just move Altuve back to second, put Dubon in left field, and put Cam Smith in right field, and then Jake Myers is your center fielder, and then you keep Brandon Rogers as for depth, and then this whole experiment of Altuve being in left field is over. Why not just do that?
Because I think their trust level in Dubon is probably not as high as it needs to be from an offensive perspective. I think that
Okay,
if that was the case, I feel like that situation would be played out more, right? Where either you keep Altuve at second and Dubon's playing left, or switch it up or whatever it is, right? So, I mean, I haven't heard much about Dubon in the spring. I mean, the few times the handful of times I've watched him play, he's still swinging at garbage.
Well, but you have to remember Dubon was the official center fielder for Justin Verlander. So it's like supposedly he's a defensive monster in the outfield, right? That's the way that it was sold to us when Verlander was pitching. So I don't understand why they haven't done that. Now, PK, I do agree. His stats in the spring haven't exactly looked great from the plate. So I don't know. I do know one thing, and Chris, you were talking about keeping Brendan Rodgers for depth. Yeah, he can. Not only can he play second, and he's a Gold Glove second baseman, he can also play short, and I would imagine he can play third. I've never seen him play third, but if he can play short and second, I wouldn't see why not, except for maybe his arm. But I haven't seen anything to question the fact that he could possibly throw from third. So anyway, I still think he would be a good utility guy. Or if Brendan Rodgers isn't a utility guy yet, he needs to figure out how to get some more gloves in his bag, I guess is the best way to put it, and figure that part out. But with Dubon being the, you know, Justin Verlander center fielder that he was labeled as last year, I mean, I don't see why they aren't exploring that more than the Altuve to left, other than when he said one time, "Hey guys, by the way, I'll play left if you go get Alex Bregman." And then it all came out in the news that supposedly was all rumors that they were talking about the end of the year putting him in left field. So I don't know. It sucks. I don't know what the Astros are doing right now.
I mean,
Well,
I
look,
think
yeah,
I've come full circle on this because here I am defending Dubon. Dubon
I
played
love it.
outfield for you last season, right? I mean, so you
Yeah.
saw that play that he made in Baltimore where he
Yeah,
crashed
ran
into the
through the damn
wall.
fence.
So he played left field, right? I mean, and I didn't. What I didn't see Dubon doing is miss timing balls, jumping after balls. And I get it. I'm not saying Altuve is garbage. It's a brand new
No,
position.
absolutely
He's got
not.
to learn it. He needs the reps. But what I'm saying is that like I didn't really see Dubon out in the outfield make a fool out of himself. And I'm not saying
Hmm.
Altuve has. what I'm saying is that I think what it boils down to is PK. I think you're right. Is that they know that I think that they want to keep him in that super utility role, just to kind of like, maybe I guess keep him fresh or whatever. But yeah, I mean, so I guess Altuve's their left fielder. But hey, on a plus note, we did have an old Lance McCullers sighting, and he didn't pitch that bad either.
Wasn't too bad, man.
He looked good,
really,
man.
But we're happy for him. I'm really happy for him. It looked good.
Yeah, no, I am too.
I think he's gonna throw again on Sunday, is what he said yesterday.
Yeah,
I think.
So I guess the question is, where do you what happens to him? Like, I know that he's probably not going to be ready for the season, right? So, I mean, technically, because he's on the 60-day IL, he's not on the 40-man roster. You could have him start the season out in AAA without it, even though he's got a major league contract, but he's not on the 40-man roster. So,
wouldn't be a bad thing.
And
it's more work.
No, I mean, because I think they're going to need that guy to come in and pitch 3 innings out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
And I think McCullers could do that. Or you could piggyback him with Wisniewski. They swap off like they used to do back when we were hot garbage.
So call me crazy, but you can have him on the 60-day IL and he can pitch in spring training and start a game?
Yes, as long as he's not activated. So what happens is once you get transferred to the 60-day IL, you are no longer a part of the 40-man roster. So technically, he could start the season in AAA without having to go through waivers. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
that is a loophole I did not know about.
Yeah. And like I said, the fact that he's throwing, I don't think they've officially activated him from the 60-day DL yet. So he can start the season in AAA and work his arm strength back. But like I said, for me, I didn't know it was like 860 something days since the last time he pitched. I just know that, everybody in the city gave him a lot of shit for always being hurt. So it was really good to see him back on the mound. And he didn't look terrible. I mean, so I'm good with that. So
yeah, and apparently
anything else?
Few former Astros, text them, Correa, that guy up in Boston. Good luck.
That guy.
He didn't get back with me.
He didn't respond. Let's go back to Dubon real quick. Okay, real quick, and then we're gonna get on to our predictions because we'll wrap this thing up. But he is hitting 167 this spring. So another thing I saw on X is that. Yeah, but Jordan is Jordan. I don't have, like you said, I have zero.
I get it.
Well, he was working on his swing too, though. So I'm not worried about Jordan. Dubon, I am worried about.
I did see Bregman's replacement though for the HEB commercials. Did you see that on X?
Who is it? No,
it's your boy Mauricio.
I put that on the text, man. You guys didn't watch that, dude? I put that on our text chain.
Yes, sir. It's the Bregman replacement, Mr. Mauricio.
No, he's pushing the ice cream too.
Hell yeah, he is. Hell yeah.
Well, it looks like I'm going to be a Kroger guy for the rest of my life.
No, you're not. You know better. You know better. All right.
I love it.
Let's get into this AL Central predictions. I want to start off by saying that last year when we did this, we were really consistent in getting everything wrong except for the White Sox being
for the one. Yeah. So I went back and I tried really hard to get the snippet, and even if I did get it, it was like 4.5 minutes long. And I'm sure that not everybody wanted to listen to 4.5 minutes of us on shitty microphones and sounding like we're in wind tunnels. But yeah, we were terribly wrong on every single prediction, with the exception of the White Sox finishing in last place. So our predictions from last year was the Twins win in the Central. Second place was the Guardians. Third place was the Tigers. Fourth place was the Royals. In reality, the Guardians won the division very handedly. The Royals came in second. Tigers came in third. Twins came in fourth.
Four of the 5 teams in the Central. We did 2 out of 5, man.
Did we?
The Tiger, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I had the I thought it was Twins, Guardians, Tigers. The Tigers finished in third. Okay. 4 teams out of that division finished above 500 last season. all 4 of those teams, I believe. No, the Twins didn't. 3 of those 5 teams made the playoffs. So we did no bueno on the AL Central last year. But you know what? We're probably going to continue and making the same mistakes this year.
Hell yeah.
I have spent approximately 4.5 seconds investigating the AL Central for 2025. Here are my predictions. Number 5, finishing last place, is going to be the White Sox. I think that's pretty much on lockdown.
Agree.
I think the Twins will replicate finishing in 4th, mainly because they still have Correa, they still have Buxton, and they're always hurt.
Royce Lewis just got hurt again.
Yeah, there you go. So
he just got hurt again.
Where things get a little bit dicey is he's top 3 because, like, Cleveland did bring back Shane Bieber, even though he's hurt, but they did trade away Josh Naylor. Naylor's now with Arizona. So I don't even know who their first baseman is. No, it's Carlos Santana. That's who they signed, I think.
They brought him back.
So I really think these top 3 teams are going to be within 4 games of each other. But I'm going to pencil in the Guardians at 3rd. And it's just really tough with Detroit and KC because I feel like they're kind of in the same spot the Rangers were in last year, where all of their young kids had to replicate what they did last season. And if 2 or 3 of them go into a sophomore slump, their whole season's going to tank. But I think there's more weapons with Detroit than I see in KC. I feel like KC is Bobby Witt and then a bunch of guys, even though we don't give them credit. Their pitching rotation's fantastic. But I'm gonna go with the Royals being 2nd place, then I have the Tigers winning the Central. And those are my predictions.
All right. I do agree with you on the 5 slot. I think it's White Sox. And I'm going to make one comment on that. I think the White Sox, as long as they can get this figured out, because I know they're trying to do what the Astros did in from 2010 to 2015. So if they can actually execute something remotely close to what we did and accumulate draft picks and, young talent like that, then they probably will end up being good, but give it 5 years. So anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the package they got for Crochet. I thought that was a really good package they got for him. If they could have,
they're on the right path.
Yeah. I mean, I think Montgomery's going to be good. I think Kyle Teal's going to be really good too. But I think you're right. They're probably 3, 4, 5 years down the road. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. Number 4, I agree with you, Twins. I think the Twins actually are going to be fighting with the White Sox for a terrible record throughout this whole thing. I don't really see them doing, a whole lot of anything, to be honest with you. And like we've already established, all their players are always injured. I think they've got an aging roster. I think they've got a whole lot of dead money on that roster. So I don't see them improving anytime soon to try to help anything out. So this is not going to be like at the deadline, the Twins are picking up, like some of these amazing free agents. I think what they're going to end up doing is having a fire sale, and they're going to try to replicate what the White Sox are trying to do right now. So there you go. I think they'll both be fighting for the bottom of the AL Central. Now, here's where it gets a little bit different. And like you talked about the top 3, I think the top 3 is not as close, maybe, as you've put it. I think the Guardians, almost said the Indians. So crisscross applesauce, Cleveland.
Yeah, can't say that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so everybody say Guardian style real quick for 3rd place. Yeah. So 3rd place, what you're going to have is, once again, a roster where Cleveland is not spending money. They subtracted more than they added. And, they've got a really good coaching staff, but at the same time, they lost Tito too. So Tito's now with the Reds. You've got you've got a new manager, you've got a new coaching staff, and I don't think they're going to be able to squeeze that juice as much as they have in the past to actually make them compete. So, Guardians are going to be in 3rd place. Now, here's where we're different. Detroit has got young, good talent. I think they've got Skubal. They've got amazing pitching. They've got some good guys that they did end up picking up, but they swung and missed swung and missed on a whole lot of those guys in free agency that they really, really wanted. And I think that that's going to hurt them down the stretch. And don't get me wrong, AJ is going to get these guys like playing hard, but not as hard as he could have if he would have had a couple veterans on that team like we had, like back in 2015. And then let's go ahead and fast forward to 2017 from there, when we picked up like McCann and, obviously a couple other guys that we won't talk about. But anyway, so I've got them in second. First, I've got Kansas City. Kansas City was very sneaky. They picked up some good guys like Jonathan India coming onto this team. I mean, they've got Bobby Witt. They picked up some key pieces to their rotation. I think Kansas City, honestly, is going to be a contender for first place in the American League. So watch out for them. I'm telling you, nobody's going to like them, and they're going to come in and win a whole lot of games. And there's going to be about 10,000 people in the seats until you hit August. So I'm telling you, Kansas City actually has some very, very sneaky talent that's going to come up and surprise a whole lot of people. They're my first place team in the AL Central.
I should have gone before you, Bros. You should have closed with that, because my in-depth analysis is nowhere near that.
It's like, I like blue, so I go with the Royals.
I go with the Royals. All right, so let's just start. White Sox at the bottom, right? Minnesota, can't trust them. Always hurt. I mean, it's the same thing, same shit. And just to be fair, Bros, we have the exact same finishing, for the Central. I think Cleveland, they had their chances. I just think their time's come. It's Kansas City and Detroit's division now to fight. So I got Cleveland finishing third. The Detroit thing, it's kind of like how I felt with Baltimore a couple of years ago when their young guns started coming. I know they're still young there now, but now they're 2-3 years into this little progress that Baltimore's having. So I kind of look at Detroit kind of that same way. And you also have AJ Hinch, which we know what that guy can do, what kind of manager that guy is. Chris, you talked about it when you were going through your predictions, is that Detroit's in the same boat that the Rangers were, where these young guys have to replicate what they did last year, right? And it's so difficult for that to happen because you have the layoff in the offseason. And that team got really hot towards the end, the last month of the season, rolling into the playoffs, right? And it kind of reminds me of how with Pena, when he got hot during the playoffs, and we expected Pena to be this superstar, and he's kind of regressed only because we had such high level of expectation for him based on that playoff. So I think with Detroit, they're right there with Kansas City. I think those two teams are going to be fighting the whole season for it. I still think that even though they brought back Jack Flaherty, you got Flaherty, but Screwball is their pitcher, right? I mean, that's their ace. And I just think I think they're going to be good, but they're going to finish second. It's Kansas City's division. It's just Kansas City. They're pitching. Their starting rotation is phenomenal, right? And I don't pay much attention to the pickup like India and all that, but I know they have Bobby Witt. They've got Salvador Perez. There's still Mashes back there. Seth Lugo, I think, re-signed with them. Their starting rotation is pretty damn good. And I like blue, and they have the powder blue uniforms. So
there you go.
I'm going with Kansas City. Not as in-depth as Bryles, but I actually went back and forth Kansas City, Detroit. I think I stay with Kansas City just for a little bit more experience that the team overall has compared to Detroit. So yes, those are my predictions.
I think as another prediction, I think that by the trade deadline, August 1st, I think you'll see Correa and Byron Buxton wearing new uniforms. That's what I'll see.
Yeah, that cute little experiment with Correa,
like starters. Maybe
Correa comes back to Houston.
Yeah. No, we're good. No, we're good. But hey, great episode. We went long tonight, guys, but we also started a little bit later, so I appreciate everyone for sticking it out, and hanging in there with us. We will be back next Thursday for opening day.
Next
against the Mets.
Thursday.
We did not talk about the Stars, but Fromber, shockingly, will be the opening day starter. Clay something or other for the Mets is the opening day starter for them. Juan Soto's back in town, so we got some revenge against him.
Is he still
after yeah. After next Thursday, we will be going Thursdays and Sundays.
Thursdays and Sundays, yes, sir.
Thursdays and Sundays, so make sure y'all tune in. But until then, you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. The Longhorns play tonight, playing game.
Don't forget to fill out your
brackets. Don't forget to fill out your brackets before tomorrow's first game. You listen to the Juicebox Heroes podcast. I'm PK, that's Chris, and that's Bryles. And we'll talk to y'all later.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em, baby.
Oh,
I got to turn that game on.
There you go.
Yeah, I was about to say they're about to jump off against Xavier right now, but anyway, we'll see.